It's World Kidney Day and the weekend is near. Good morning, everyone. I'm LaDawn Davis, and this is the Morning Edition. And as always, it's so great to have you waking up with us. Some mild temperatures on the outside, but for more on your weather outlook for the week, here's Chief Meteorologist Basil Dean.
This weather report is sponsored by Bank of the Bahamas, the bank of solutions.
Good morning, LaDawn. That area of high pressure across the Bahamas has relaxed considerably, and that means normal boating conditions will return to the Bahamas today. But we have a little troughing just to the north of us. That will not get here. We expect it to stall just north of Grand Bahama. Outside of our studios, we have near clear skies. Your temperature a mild 70 degrees, relative humidity at 81%. Easterly winds at 5 miles per hour. The barometric pressure 1,016.7 millibars. That's 30.02 inches, and your pressure is steady. Temperatures around the islands this morning: 71 degrees in Marsh Harbor, Apico, Green Turtle Key at 69. 69 also in Freeport, Grand Bahama, the Berry Islands at 73. 73 in Arlistown, Bimini. Harbor Island, 72. Roxanne, Eleuthera, 72 in Arlistown, Cat Island, 73 degrees there. 73 also in Staniel Key, Camp Space on Andros, and Fresh Creek in Central Andros. In San Salvador, it is 73. Rim Key, 73 as well. We take you into Ragged Island. They have a temperature of 74. Clarence Sound, Long Island, Crooked Island, Betsy Bay, and Acklins, all at 74 degrees. By the way, Matthew Town and Nagua reporting 74. And in the Turks and Caicos Islands, the temperature is 75 degrees. And if you're flying out this morning, we'll hear some high and low temperatures you're likely to find at some of your favorite cities. And that's going to do it for your traveling forecast. Now for your boating forecast for today in the northwestern islands. The winds are going to be northeast-east, 10 to 15 knots. We have not seen that for quite a while. Wave heights down 2 to 4 feet. High tide at 10:42 this morning. The low tide will take place at 4:58 this afternoon. In the central and southeastern islands, we would have dropped those caution flags for you. Winds out of the northeast to east, 12 to 18 knots. The wave heights 3 to 6 feet with a moderate shock. And that's going to do it for your first look at weather in the morning edition. Stay tuned. Your forecast for today and tonight is still ahead.
Thanks a lot, Basil. Meanwhile, our Desmond Saunders and the Morning Edition team is standing by with the Bahamas First traffic report.
The traffic report is sponsored by Bahamas First. First in insurance, today, tomorrow.
Good morning, LaDawn, and good morning, Bahamas. I'm coming to you live from the Charles Saunders Highway. Streets are filling up. A number of people are heading out to make their early morning commute. This is a major thoroughfare, so there are a number of concerns and issues that traffic police have. If you're going to come in this area, you may want to pay attention to some traffic signals. Very, very important. Jerron Thompson, he's the sergeant working with traffic police. He's joining me live on the broadcast this morning. How are you? And what are some of the concerns for motorists in this area?
Good morning to you. Good morning, Bahamas. Some of the concerns we have in this particular area, we have a lot of persons that from time to time would run the red light. We like to advise persons not to do that because this is a very busy intersection. We have high pedestrian traffic in this area as well, so we want persons to avoid running the red light, drive within the confines of the law, and refrain from doing that. Also, persons that are traveling east of this intersection, they would fail to keep left. They will drive around the islands, coming towards the traffic light. We have been in this area for the last few weeks, in this eastern area, because we have a lot of aggressive drivers in this area. We've been enforcing the law, ticketing a lot of persons and putting them before the courts.
Right. Like Cable Beach, like the site we visited yesterday, this area is frequented by a number of joggers and fitness enthusiasts. So what advice you have for those persons?
To continue to use the sidewalks. If you on the next side of the street where there are no sidewalks, walk towards the traffic, facing the traffic. Also wear light clothing or bright clothing. Refrain from using dark clothing because it is very hard and very difficult for persons to see you. So we advise that.
All right. Any areas that motorists should try to avoid?
Yes, once again, the Nassau Street area, I noticed they had a portion of the road closed for good, but yesterday, and also in the Don area, in the DeVoe Street and East Bay Street area. There are still some works going on in that area, and we ask persons to drive cautiously, and if you can, avoid those areas. And like I said again, drive cautiously and think about the safety of those men that are working in the streets.
Safety is definitely important. And Sergeant Jerome Thompson, Police Month, a number of activities. Let's talk about how the activities are going for Police Month.
Yes, we expect to have basketball this afternoon around this gym at 5 p.m. We want persons to come out and support the police. Come and cheer for us. I think I have 1 or 2 dunks still in this body.
And I'm going to try and see if I could join you.
Yeah, I'm gonna try.
Battle it out on the courts.
Absolutely, we're gonna try to dunk on persons today. I represent the Beast from the East, and we have a no layup rule. So persons who think they're gonna come and just be laying up all day, you're gonna have to earn it at the free throw line.
Well, buzzing with a whole lot of activity in this area. I'm coming to you live from the Charles Saunders Highway. Want to remind you, safety is key. So as you head out and make your early morning commute, you want to adhere to the traffic rules. You want to obey the traffic laws of the land. Police, traffic police, they're going to be attached in different areas. So you definitely want to be careful. That's going to do it from here at this vantage point right here at the Charles Saunders Highway. Back to you, LaDon, in the studio.
And still to come, an expanded look at how the Bahamas is responding in the wake of COVID-19 pandemic, now impacting over 100 countries, including 2 regional islands. So keep it locked. The World Health Organization is describing the COVID-19 pandemic as not just a public health crisis, but one that will touch every sector, and all must be involved in the fight. The nation's leader, Prime Minister, the Most Honorable Dr. Hubert Minnis, telling the congregation of the Church of God of Prophecy last night that the COVID-19 situation is a matter of grave concern. He said as Prime Minister, he has instructed the government and health officials to do everything in their power to combat, communicate, and respond to this health risk and crisis. Meanwhile, as part of the government's overall preparedness and response plan to COVID-19, a national co-coordination committee has been appointed. The committee is co-chaired by Chief Medical Officer Dr. Pearl McMillan and Executive Director of the Organization for Responsible Governance, Matt Albury. It comprises of government officials from the Ministries of Health, Finance, Tourism, Education, the Office of the Prime Minister, stakeholders, and civil society members, as well as port and union representatives.
Certainly, we ought to be prudent about our expenditure, ensure that we engage in those things that are going to bring us long-term benefit, whether it is in construction, whether it is in ensuring that we have the medicines and the food and the other necessary items that we need in order to ensure that we can sustain ourselves for the medium to long term. Again, we're doing what we can from our side in terms of providing incentives and concessions. We are devising an economic plan, as the Prime Minister has instructed us, to provide support to the economy in the event that there is a sharp downturn, which we hope will not come. But we will be prepared to do what we can with the resources that we have to be able to help cushion any significant loss in the economy.
Now, that was the Minister of Finance and the Deputy Prime Minister, the Honorable K. Peter Turnquest, on the economic impact on COVID-19's effect on the Bahamas. While the national flag carrier is also continuing to monitor and respond to COVID-19, Bahamas Air's daily routine involves all aircraft being thoroughly cleaned and sanitized in accordance with global travel industry best practices, applying disinfectants that is effective against the coronavirus across aircraft interiors, including tray, tables, seat covers, armrests, and seat belts. Now, additionally, flight crew have been appraised with updated travel industry practices in an effort to handle potentially sick passengers. Now, as Bahamas Air maintains its regular flight schedule, the airline has not received any information about any international travel advisory at any of their scheduled destinations. Bahamas Air will also waive change fees across all fare types to all destinations on its schedule through May 31st. Now, in accordance with the airline's fare rules policy, new travel will have to take place within a year of the original ticket issue date. With a second Caribbean island being impacted by COVID-19, local health officials were pleased on high alert due to a case of concern. Here's Cleopatra Murphy.
Minister of Health, the Honorable Dr. Dwayne Sands, has confirmed that health officials tested an American man for the novel coronavirus or COVID-19 on Tuesday after he displayed respiratory symptoms. Sands says he did not have the epidemiological history, but health officials moved to act in the public interest.
He would have gone through the algorithm to look for the other causes of respiratory infection, including respiratory syncytial virus, influenza A, influenza B. All of those tests were negative. Out of an abundance of caution, the technical team, including our infectious disease experts, our chief medical officer, our medical chief of staff, decided it was appropriate to test this person, and it turned out to be negative.
The Minister of Health was addressing members of the Bahamas Christian Council and other members of the Christian community at the Melia All-Inclusive Resort Wednesday morning, where he assured that the Bahamas remains free of the virus. The novel coronavirus has now been declared a pandemic, with more than 115,000 people across the globe diagnosed, having claimed more than 4,200 lives. Sands says some people are more susceptible than others to the illness.
It is more of a threat to older people. As I would have suggested, if you're less than 40 or less than 30, even if infected with coronavirus, the data from around the world suggests that even if you're infected, the chance of death is between 1 in 250 and 1 in 500.
He says 80% of people who acquire the virus will not know and will not require hospitalization.
A small percentage, maybe 15%, require hospitalization. 5% of the total would tend to be critical. At this point around the world, there are less than 6,000 people with serious illness or critical illness.
Sands says local health officials are taking the outbreak seriously, despite the Bahamas not having any confirmed cases. Health officials have now set up a 24-hour hotline for the public to call if they feel sick. The numbers are 376-9350, 376-9387, 376-9357, and 376-9025.
We would encourage nobody to treat themselves. Talk to your doctor. Call the hotline, and we can talk you through it.
Cleopatra Murphy, ZNS Network News.
And still to come, consumer education and what's being done on the local scene. You're watching The Morning Edition. Consumer representatives in the Bahamas will pause this coming week to place greater emphasis on consumer rights and the need to promote sustainable efforts. In studio to discuss the local efforts is Chairman of the Price Commission, Danny Sumner, and the Chairman of the Consumer Protections Commission, Mr. Philip Benaby. Mr. Sumner, Mr. Benaby, welcome to the Morning Edition.
Good morning.
Good morning. Good morning.
Good morning.
Pleasure to be here.
So, Mr. Sumner, I'll start with you. Talk to me a little bit about your role in the Price Commission.
My role is very simple. Me being the chairman of the Price and Control Commission, I normally would be in a position where, with the commission behind me, and we have a 9-commission team, my role is to advise the minister and the ministry in terms of price hoarding, price gouging, and other infraction that may impede the consumer purchasing from local vendors or food store or et cetera, et cetera.
And Mr. Benaby, talk to us a little bit about your role
Correct.
in consumer protection.
Thank you, LaDon. It's a pleasure to be here. The Consumer Protection Commission, I act as chairman with several members, and the Consumer Protection Commission was established in 2006. Primary purpose is to redress complaints of customers in the Bahamas who have been adversely affected with respect to provision of a service, as well as some purchase that they would have experienced in the Bahamas. And so what happens is that they would, if there's an impasse or they're not able to bring resolution to it, they will come to the commission and we will bring the parties together and try to bring quick resolution to the problem.
Now, I know Consumer Week starts this coming Sunday. Mr. Sumner, talk to us a little bit about the goals and some of the major concerns that you want to see addressed in the Price Commission.
Okay, we, in addition to the commission, we have a very good inspection team. The team, what we want to do this week is to bring to the Bahamian public the role of those inspectors. Earlier, I told you about my role. The inspectors have a critical role, okay? They go out daily in these food stores and they check the pricing of articles that are under bread control. And in addition to that, we look for other infractions such as things on the shelf that is not itemized, no pricing on them, et cetera, even produce. There should be a scale in the produce area. All of those things the inspectors look for. And actually, by doing that, it will give the store owners an indication that price inspection is critical. And we want the Bahamian public, during this week, the inspectors will be making a lot of appearances throughout the island of New Providence. And they will also visit some schools in regards to their role, in regards to what they do and what we are looking for as a commission. And during this time, too, we also make recommendations for changes if need be. And we also will recommend to the cabinet and to our minister, Dion Folks, implementations that would enhance the overall productivity of these inspectors and the role of the commission.
What are some of the complaints now? I know we've done a few stories before about some of the complaints consumers have been, experiencing. Are those complaints still going on?
As a matter of fact, as I speak, there are a number of complaints right now. We all know that the virus situation in the Bahamas is hell, all right? When I say hell, I'm talking about the preventive measure. In talking about that, we have a lot of complaints in regards to Lysol products and hand sanitizers. I've understood that many consumers are complaining the availability of these products, which is critical. And in doing that also, we discovered that price have escalated with hand sanitizers over the last week and a half, and same thing goes for Lysol spray. That shouldn't be. I have contacted a couple of people who I know, and I have verified with Bahamas Customs. The duty on hand sanitizer is 10%. The duty on Lysol is 35%. And the market price that they are pushing to the Bahamian public, we will investigate. And if found that they are doing injustice to the Bahamian society, then the minister will deal with that, I'm sure of that. But if these retailers and wholesalers have those items and they're not making them available to the Bahamian public, that is a major problem. The law states that all products must be made available with fair market price, which means then you cannot, because the market demands for hand sanitizer, the market is demanding that the Lysol spray in view of the coronavirus. We don't want the price to jack up because people need them. That is an offense, and that is hoarding. And if we found that that is happening, then we will deal with it.
What's the penalty for that?
The penalty is $2,500 for hoarding, and that is per item. So if you got a bunch of hand sanitizers stacked away and waiting for the appropriate time, then you're doing injustice to the Bahamian society, and we're not going to allow that.
Mr. Benaby, your take on the, price gouging, hoarding.
Yes, well, we have seen a number of complaints in those particular areas as well, and vendors tend to try to do that to up their game. But we're having this week on Monday a ceremony at the mall at Marathon, and when the minister or his representatives will be talking about some of these issues as well and bringing focus to some of these areas, and other speakers, we'll have exhibits there so that we can sensitize the Bahamian people to these kinds of things. And on top of that, there's a need to move to the Family Islands as well. I wouldn't say what Family Islands we're going to next, but very shortly we'll be hitting the Family Islands to ensure that there's equity there as well with respect to prices and all of these matters. But I think that like the hurricanes or the aftermath of hurricanes, there tend to be that move by some vendors there, and so it's the Price Commission job to investigate those to make sure that where there are breaches, they're dealt with expeditiously.
As chairman of the Consumer Protection Commission, what message you want to send out to operators and Bahamians, rather, as you guys celebrate Consumer Week this
Well, the theme this year is Sustainable Consumer. This is a global initiative by Consumer International to bring attention to consumer rights, and because this is very important with respect to the environment, biodiversity, about the environment and eco energy and all those stuff. And so we want to say to the consumer that it is important that, first of all, that we always say an educated consumer is a good person to have some knowledge of what he's purchasing, and so that he can make intelligent, or she can make intelligent decisions. And so for us, we have initiated education programs to ensure that, and this is big for us, to ensure that our consumers are well informed with respect to their purchasing power and their rights. So that's the attention.
No, Mr. Sumner, I know I've been guilty of this. I leave my plastic bags in the vehicle, and then I have to go back and I guess, take my bags in. Talking about the status of the plastic bag ban, how's that going?
Well, that is going good right now. I will mention that. We have noticed that the food stores and even the convenience stores are making it easy for their clients to come in, purchase their groceries, and have the alternative bags available other than the plastic bag. The government's whole idea was to discourage the plastic bag, and that was why the fee was implemented, to discourage the consumers to be using the plastic bag. It wasn't a money-making a scheme by the government. The government is only looking to protect the consumers. Be as it may, the consumers now should be aware that their rights are being looked at. When you go in the food store now, if you don't carry a bag, then they probably wouldn't let you come out with your food items. So I would urge the consumers to take a bag and then purchase, and then you can bring whatever you want out of the food store. So the food store have their policies, the government have their policies. The policies government have in place right now, plastic will be eliminated. So the food store now are in compliance. So some food store actually sell the bag if you go there. You purchase a bag or two, and then you purchase your stuff and you put them in the bag.
Any final words, gentlemen? Mr. Benaby?
Well, my final words, I think that we are in a very difficult time now globally. I think I've just heard that flights to Europe are being canceled, and so it's going to have a significant impact on our economy. And I think the central bank has given some caution for consumers to be very frugal, very vigilant with respect to their purchases until the storm passes over.
Mr. Sumner?
Yeah, finally, I would like for the store owners in the nation, I'm pleading on behalf of the Bahamian public, hand sanitizers and Lysol spray. Those two items, if you have them, please make sure that the price are market price. We don't want people complaining. I have heard numerous complaints about the pricing. Please, pricing is very important, very critical at this time. With the European flight will be disconnected. After a while, cargo is going to be a problem. So food items, we have to be careful in pricing food items because eventually it may be an issue.
Mr. Sumner, Mr. Benaby, thank you guys so much for joining us here on the Morning Edition, and best of luck on Consumer Week this coming week.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
It's a pleasure.
Also, the New Providence Ecology Park will celebrate its first anniversary this Saturday, March 15th, and to commemorate the milestone, officials hosted Prime Minister, the Most Honorable Dr. Hubert Minnis, and members of his cabinet to a tour yesterday. Park officials boast that in less than 12 months, the facility has transformed from one of the most significant, long-standing environmental and social hazards in the Bahamas into a clean, compacted, and revitalized ecosystem. They informed the Prime Minister that using simple, proven strategies, they have successfully delivered stable, consistent, and cost-effective solutions. Timothy Hodge is the project manager.
The biggest thing we've done is just get all the garbage covered. There's a lot less reason to be here now. And historically, when everything was uncovered, there were a lot more things to scavenge and work on and trade and swap, and that just doesn't exist anymore. So that we've had the best success with that, of just everything being capped and contained. And then we've got 24-hour security, and we've worked very respectively and carefully with community here and also people that have kind of historically come and gone off the site, and we're very pleased with the results so far. And we've had very good public interface. We've got an area down below where the public can come and drop their rubbish, and we're trying to make that as efficient and clean and well-kept as possible. But by and large, everyone, I think, has been very pleased and impressed with the changes to date and been very compliant with working with the new rules.
We now move over to Exuma, where the island is about to come alive with the annual Heritage and Music Festival. Charles Fisher is there.
The 16th Bahamas Music and Heritage Festival will get underway here in Georgetown, Exuma this evening. Peter Williams, Ministry of Tourism, Logistics for planning the event.
Once folks come on the site, they will see we have a decorated site that is very festive. And once you hit here, you know that the entertainment, the excitement just builds up. They will feel the rhythm. They will just feel that, guess what, they are Bahamians and they are part of the festival. We have over 15 vendors that will include native cuisines along with arts and craft and demonstration booths. So you can expect that.
It is not called the Music and Heritage Festival for nothing, and that's because the best in Bahamian entertainment will be here this weekend, and the man responsible for putting that lineup together. Joining us this morning, Ronald Simpson. Ronald, tell us about this lineup. This is like an all-star lineup.
It's always an all-star lineup here at the Exuma Heritage Festival. You know, this is our 16th year. Oh, there's a party on the bay. You know, it's not the dock of the bay where we sit down. This is the dock of the bay where we jump up and dance and have a blast all night for 3 solid nights right here in Exuma.
So there you have it from Ronald Sims. There's going to be a lot of foot stomping, dancing. I'm going to get myself ready for this. Yes, you come on down and enjoy yourself down here in Georgetown, Exuma, the Music and Heritage Festival. Guess what? I might put on a special show. You don't want to miss that. The event getting a major donations from Sandals Resort.
It is great for not just Bahamas, but specifically for Exuma. And so, you know, we're very proud to have seen it grow over the years. And so on behalf of our company, we would just like to extend this token in terms of sponsorship, part sponsorship, and you know, again, continue the great work that you do within the Ministry of Tourism.
I'd like to thank you for all that you do and the community. I know you will be there. You support us, not only financially, by the contributions of you, by the support. You will be present. You will have your bartenders there in our mixology contest. You will have the judges there to judge our student culinary competition. And thank you.
In Georgetown, Exuma, wishing everybody can come on down and enjoy the fun. For the Morning Edition, I'm Charles Fisher.
Thanks a lot, Fisher. Stay close. The Morning Edition continues the plight of a dialysis patient on this World Kidney Day, so keep it locked. Today is World Kidney Day, and the Morning Edition caught up with a young woman in her early 40s battling chronic kidney failure and is in dire need of a kidney transplant. This young woman has a family history of kidney ailments and is using the opportunity to encourage others to get tested.
I've been through over 100 surgeries, 100 hospitalization. I've been in the hospital up to 4 months at one time.
41-year-old mother of 2, Amanda Miller St. Charles, life has not been a bed of roses. She's been on dialysis for the last 8 years in a constant fight against kidney failure. The disease forces the Ministry of Tourism employee into the dialysis center of the Bahamas 3 to 4 times a week in an ongoing fight to save her life.
I have to do the first at-home dialysis, which is peritoneal. And when I started that in 2012, I was on that for maybe 8 months. But what happened was the catheter, what was in my stomach, it got entangled in my bowels. So I had to have another surgery to get that corrected. But they put in another one, but it started to block. So I had to move from peritoneal dialysis to now hemodialysis, where it goes through the machine and do. Now I love the one at home because I could manage that. I did it. It was more dialysis because you did it over a 24-hour period.
While filled with a lot of hope and promise, Miller acknowledges kidney failure has taken quite a toll on her physical appearance.
I had a retinal detachment. The surgery was successful, but what happened was I had a catheter here for dialysis that got infected, and it was so close in time. Like I had eye surgery, and then the next week I had to deal with this. So the infection pulled down my eye. So that's why I can't see in this eye, but I still have 20/20 vision. It's just that this one working for both of them. This took me 4 years. I was walking on my leg. Everybody thought that it was circulation. So that's what the doctor was treating me for. But I had a condition called Charcot's joint, where my ankle got out of place. And because they didn't catch it in time to put to realign it, it ended up breaking. So my option was to stay like that or to get my leg cut off. Now, my mom was a double amputee. Her first amputation, she continued to work, she continued to travel, so she was my example that I knew there's life after amputation. So I told them, cut off my leg, because I could get a false prosthesis and I'll be walking.
When asked if she is afraid of passing the gene on to her 2 children, Miller responded with this.
I had my children tested. I've been testing them from they born, because both of them are premature. So I keep up with the doctor with them, and so far they haven't shown any signs. They have more of their father's characteristics than mine. Now me, I was the carbon copy of my mommy. Whatever she had, diabetes I had.
But despite her struggles, Miller is determined to live life to the fullest.
When I can't be my prosthesis, I in a wheelchair. I rolling all over the place. I go and pay my bills. We go into the mall because I settle to spend time with my family, with my kids.
It's Thursday, but we want to bring you some inspiration today. Joining us live in studio is Marisha Walker. Marisha, welcome to the Morning Edition.
Thank you for having me, LaDawn.
So Marisha, talk to me a little bit about how did your music career start?
Well, I've been singing from I was a child, all of my life, basically. I don't know who I am without singing. I had formal training and went off to college, and yeah, so I've been doing it like forever, it seems like, yeah.
Any upcoming projects for the year?
Yes, I'm getting ready to release my 3rd album in London, actually, in June of this year, so I'm really excited about that.
What's the name of the album?
It's self-titled, it's called Marisha.
And what are you going to be singing for us this morning?
I'm going to be singing an original this morning. The song is called Midnight Cry.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, Marisha Walker.
It's midnight and my heart cries out, crying to you, Lord. I'm lost, I can't see my way through, riding through the storm. There's so much pain, and my heart can't take it. I don't know what to do, so I'm calling on you, Lord. Please hear my heart's cry. I'm depending on you, Lord.
it's midnight and my soul is searching, searching for a home. I'm empty, only you can fill me till I thirst no more. So I'll seek your face and I'll worship through the pain till I find rest for my soul. So I'm calling on you, Lord. Please hear my heart's cry. I'm depending on you, Lord, to see me through. There's darkness all around me. I need your light to see, yeah. So I'm crying out to you, Lord, from my heart. Hear my cry, oh Lord. Attend unto my prayer. I need you now. My heart is overwhelmed. So I'm calling on you, Lord. Please hear my heart's cry. I'm depending on you, Lord.
Welcome to sports, everybody. We have a full house here this morning, a very exciting weekend with the KPMG Regatta in Montague Bay. We're joined here this morning by Coolidge Cartwright, who is one of the organizers, and Coolidge is going to be a big weekend for sailing here in the country.
Yeah, it's going to be an awesome weekend. Like I said, it's one of our major regattas for the year. KPMG is the major sponsor. We are very fortunate to have them, and this is a great regatta for the kids. It's one of our qualifying regattas for anybody that's trying to go into international events and sailing.
Yeah.
So it's one of the qualifying regattas for that.
And what can we expect from the competition this weekend?
I think the competition is going to be really good. It's going to be a great competition. I think the weather's going to be excellent. The sailors, they love a little wind, so we're hoping to have a nice, good breeze. We have all classes, the Optimus class, Sunfish class, as well as the Laser class.
Before I get to the sailors and to the sponsor, I want to ask you, talking about this being a qualifying regatta, I know one of the events coming up is the Opti Worlds in Italy, and Italy is one of those countries dealing with COVID-19. How is all that going?
Well, actually, we were just talking about that in the waiting room. Yes, we had already applied for a team of 5 to go with the coach, team members, and so forth. Right now, I know it's on hold. I think it's been temporarily postponed. Now, whether it's going to be canceled completely, we don't know it yet. This is changing as we speak, day by day. Right. So right now, we're still hoping that they can go, and this is part of the training. This is they have to qualify through the events in order to make it to the team.
Well, we have 2 of the young sailors here this morning. We're going to start here with Zane Monroe. And Zane, talk a little bit about what you're expecting this weekend.
So this weekend it's supposed to be blowing medium wind. That's good for me because I'm on the lighter side of the class. So I'm hopefully trying to maybe do good this regard so I could qualify for the Worlds and North Americans.
And how's your training been going?
It's been going good. I just came back from a regatta, so I think I have good preparation for this regatta.
And we also have Amy McSweeney here this morning. And Amy, just talk a little bit about what your expectations are for this weekend.
Hopefully it's a little bit windier because I'm one of the heavier sailors. So, yeah. But I didn't go to the regatta that they went to, but I do feel prepared for it still.
And how's your training been going?
It's been good.
And what are your expectations? You want to qualify for national teams as well?
I do. There has to be one girl out of in the 5, so hopefully I can be the one girl.
Okay, and this would not happen without sponsorship. KPMG, we're joined by Nico Marge this morning. And Nico, You guys have been on board with this for a long time.
Yes, yes, thank you, Johnny. I think KPMG is absolutely proud to continue sponsoring the KPMG. As Coolidge says, this is one of the qualifying events in the Bahamas for the Opti Worlds, and KPMG takes absolute pleasure in continuing its sponsorship. But we also sponsor sport in general, especially with positive education of children, helping them through values, for example, teamwork, courage, integrity. So these values resonate with KPMG, and that's why we continue to sponsor it.
And it was to a press conference one you guys had, and just setting you guys up top there, you could just see out into the water. That's a perfect setting just to watch the regatta, right?
Sometimes I'm a little bit jealous, sitting in the boardroom, seeing the kids on the water, thinking, boy, why can't I be as lucky as them?
Well, we want to thank everybody for joining us here this morning. Make sure you go out to Montague Bay this weekend, the best in sailing.
In our final look at weather, after a week of very windy conditions, though, high pressure has collapsed and the winds have now reduced to about 10 to 15 knots in the northwest of Bahamas, and they will be primarily out of the northeast during the course of the day. We have a frontal boundary just to the north of us, but that is expected to stall, could create some cloudiness over the extreme northwest around Abaco and Grand Bahama, maybe 1 or 2 passing showers as well, and that mid to level, upper level trough has moved off towards the south and east, so we should be experiencing some pretty nice conditions over the next couple of days. Forecast for today, partly sunny and on the warm side with a high of 82 degrees tonight. We are looking at partly cloudy as well with a mild temperature of 69 degrees. The extended weather forecast, the beautiful weather will continue right through the weekend. We're going to keep you in the low 80s during the daytime. Those nighttime temperatures quite comfortable in the low 70s to upper 60s. So, Dawn?
Thanks a lot, Basil, and that does it for us this World Kidney Day. For the entire Morning Edition team, I'm LaDawn Davis. Make it a great day, everyone.